In this example, let's talk about CommonJS module exports and what the big deal is and how can we achieve exporting, right? Some piece of code so we could use it in another piece of code that we are interested in. So for example, let's just talk about, let's create a new file. Let's create it my module.js. And here, let's just say that we have some function. Let's call that a say hello function. It's going to bring in a first name as a parameter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to return a template string. And what we're going to say is hello, comma, the variable resolved, first name, that first name variable resolved. That's the function. And what we're going to do is we want to export this. So what are we going to do? We're going to take this name and we're going to say module.exports dot say hello equals to this, and that's what we're going to export. And now we want to bring this in this example. So what are we going to do? It's in the same directory. So why don't we do this? Why don't we say my module, whatever that is. It's a variable that's going to hold the object. And with Node.js, we can say require the current directory, and let's look for my module.js. We don't have to enter the .js. And here we can say my module, whatever that is. By the way, we can call this anything. If I said banana, we can call this banana dot, go ahead and say hello to Ed. And if we run this, we should be able to see something, example.js. What we're going to do is it's not doing anything because we're returning, but we're not printing it. So let's console log whatever we're getting from this function. And now we go and get hello Ed. So just a quick note about what we're doing here. We have some module, we're exporting that module, and we're bringing it in, we're importing it here in this example.js file. The one other thing I guess I would mention here is that there's a few different ways to export, but I guess one of the main things that you'll see is instead of just a function being declared this way, you may see the big arrow, right? The fat arrow, the big arrow notation. So what that would look like is if you take this out and you take this and you include an arrow here, what this will do is we'll do exactly the same thing. There's not a lot of changes here. One thing I would note is that the big arrow is shorter. Why? Because you don't have to type in function. And then sometimes the big idea, and we won't get into it in this video, I'll get into this in another video, but the big idea is that the scope, right, this keyword will be different when you do function. This, excuse me, sometimes, well, when you do the big arrow, it will remain the same context of the this keyword. But for this video, no need to worry about that. I just want to highlight that sometimes you'll see something like this, which is using big arrow notation or fat arrow notation or arrow notation, and sometimes you'll see the function keyword. But if we save this and we run it, you should see that we get exactly the same thing. That's all I wanted to highlight here. So this is great. Why? Because we're able to write code somewhere in our application where we can reuse somewhere else, like in this example.js file. I hope this helps.